Kadosh Boker or Bekiim Bahalacha 2. Siman 1, day 15, Halacha Mem Het. We're talking about now in times of crisis. Although the contemporary custom is not to recite the passages of the Korbanot on a daily basis, it is important to do so when one's community has been attacked by a deadly epidemic such as cholera. Right? Okay. I don't know what this is. He says here, these passages have the power to protect one from all evils, and we can rely upon them for our safety. So it's mashma over here that even though we don't do all the korbanot, you remember yesterday we spoke about that the korbanot could be found in Vayikra 1:1-9, 2-1, chapter 2, 1-13, chapter 3, 1-5, chapter 7, 11-38, chapter, the different things. So there, if at a time of a pandemic or things like that, we should be saying those things. So very interesting. This is actually brought down. We're only learning it now. Okay. Number 49. One must not recite the passage of Korbanot Tamid on the chapter of Oziel Mikuman while it's still nighttime. Okay, meaning until dawn. Right? In the Bet HaMikdash, the Kohanim do not begin the daily cycle until daylight. The Torah specifies the cycle may be brought during the day only. So you can't do it at nighttime. That's why you can't start Korbanot too early in the morning. So 46. The Arba Turim stated that it's preferable to recite the passage of Korbanot during the day, since there is something to do for the offering of the sacrifices. And the sacrifices can be offered only during the day and not during the night. And the Bet Yosef cited a responsive of the Rosh regarding the passage of Korbanot Tamid as the source for this halacha. In Shulchan Aruch as well, Maran ruled that one must say the passage of Korbanot Tamid until daybreak. The Arba Turim to the Shulchan Aruch deduce that this is the best to recite all passages of the sacrifices during the day, since it cannot be offered during the nighttime. The Pisket Teshuvot define daybreak as dawn, not sunrise. Okay? It seems that there's a difference between the passage of Korbanot Tamid and those of the other sacrifices. Regarding the others, the term used is, it is preferable to recite them during the day. Okay? But regarding the passage of Korbanot Tamid, right, the wording is, do not recite it until, meaning, Korbanot Tamid, he says, do not do it until. In other words, it says it's preferable. So Mekor Chaim suggests this is because reciting the passage of Korbanot Tamid has become obligatory, whereas reciting the other passages is only a voluntary practice. Practically speaking, our custom is to recite the passage of Korbanot Tamid only. Okay, as has been mentioned above in the preface of these halachot, we do not recite the passage of Korbanot at all. This halacha, however, is pertinent regarding the chapter of Oziel Mikuman. It is likewise should be recited only during the day. In fact, the Mishabura ruled specifically that we must recite these Mishnayot during the day only since this comes to take place of the offering of the sacrifices, and that could take place during the day only. Okay? What about when you're pressed for time? So the Pri Megadim ruled that if someone wishes to recite the passages of the Korbanot, but he knows that he will have no time during the day for it, he may say it while it's still nighttime. So it's a Pri Megadim. See the Pisket Shuvot, which is the source for the ruling of Pri Megadim, added, he says, is that if someone recites during the night, he should not add the prayers, that it should be like a korban, obviously. Okay? The Rav Chida ruled that there is no sin in reciting them during the night. It is no different than any passage of the Torah studied during the night. It is preferable, however, say during the day. So according to Rav Chida, there's no avera in doing it. Just preferable. It's better to. In general, we are taught that when someone studies the Halachot of the Korbanot, he's rewarded as if he had offered the Korban. Although he is not in the Bet HaMikdash, he cannot offer the Korban where he is, heaven considers it as if he did it in the proper place. Likewise, even when someone studies the passage of the Korban at a time when it cannot be offered, heaven can consider it as if he offered the Korban at the proper time. The response of Lev Chaim concluded that reciting the passage of the Korban is considered as if the person offered the Korban only if he recited it during the day. If he recites it during the night, right, he must not add the prayer asking for it to be considered an actual offering of a Korban. He added that according to the Kabbalah, no passage of the written Torah may be recited during the night, especially in other passages of Korbanot. This seems to contradict the ruling of the Mishnah Brura. And even when one will have no time during the day, one must not recite it during the night. Although Maran and Shalom said the several folks permitted studying written Torah during the night, in practice he ruled that one may rely upon that opinion only when it's necessary to recite Tehillim on behalf of someone ill. And again, the matter needs more research, which means that it wasn't that simple, even at the end. Okay? Fine. Number 50, Korbanot on Shabbat. We say the Korbanot Tamid in the chapter of Oziel Mikuman on Shabbat, just like we do during the weekdays. Following the instruction of the Rizal HaKadosh, we do not say the passage describing the Korban Musaf of Shabbat. That's according to the Rizal. We do it. Okay, 47. There certainly is not a problem with reciting the passage of Korbanot Tamid and Shabbat and Yom Tov, since it was also brought during those days. The question is whether it's permissible to recite the other Korbanot on those days. It is forbidden to bring a Korban Nidava on Shabbat and Yom Tov. So the Shnei Luchot HaBrit ruled that there is no sin in reciting the passages since they are part of the Torah. But one must not recite the accompanying prayers asking that it's considered as a Korban, because that you can't do, because you can't bring a Korban Nidava on Shabbat or Yom Tov. The Lev Chaim added that although the custom is specified by the Rav Chida is not to recite the passages of the Korbanot on Shabbat, one must make sure to be occupied in Torah study of one form or another. We were given the Shabbat and Yom Tovim in order to learn Torah. The Sefer Pekudat Elazar, right side of the Chabra, testified that the custom of reciting Korbanot on Shabbat actually did not write about the Korbanot, but about the Akedat Yitzchak. And it's obvious that the Chabra was referring to the passages in the prayer books forming the first part of the Shachrit. He's not referring to Mamash Korbanot. I was already shown by the Rav Chida, testified the custom is not to say these Korbanot on Shabbat. Besides, our custom is not to say that at any time, as already explained above. What about the prayer preceding the Korban Tamid? So the Kaf HaChaim said that it's permissible to recite on the prayer preceding the passage of Korban Tamid, even on Shabbat and Yom Tov. Although it includes to forgive us for our sins, we skip it out, by the way. The Moroccans skip it out, but here he's saying that you could say it. Right? He says we are instructed by the Arizal HaKadosh not to recite such prayers on Shabbat. His instructions apply only to prayers added to the regular text. Right? Since the prayer is part of the daily text, you could recite it. Likewise, as say also Ribono Olamim after the Ketoret, following the ruling of Pri Megadim. The Netivei Am and Sharet Teshuvah both recommended omitting the plea for forgiveness on Shabbat. Rabbi Mezuz followed this opinion and instructs accordingly in his prayer books Ish Matziach and Avodat Hashem. The common custom is always to recite it. So again, the Rav Mazuz, Netivei Am, Sharet Teshuvah, we also Moroccans, we don't say it. We don't do the Ribono Olamim, and we don't do also the prayer for forgiving of our sins on Shabbat. We skip it out. Okay? Ezo Mekoman. It is permissible to say the Perek of Ezo Mekoman on Shabbat. Although it describes many korbanot that may not be offered on Shabbat, we do still say the Mishnayot as a substitute for the offering the korbanot. We recite them on Shabbat as a fulfillment of mitzvah Torah study, as explained below in footnote 66. In the name of the Shnei Luchot HaBrit, there is little doubt that this is acceptable according to all the poskim. Fine. 48. We're talking about now, right? The 48, which means that you're allowed to do the Korban Musaf or not. So the Tur testified that custom of Shabbat was to recite the passage of the Korban Musaf for Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh on those days. He rejected the opinion of the Sefer Manhig that one should not recite it. The Kolbo brought down by Maran ruled that we should recite this passage for Musaf or Shabbat, but not the passage of Musaf of Rosh Chodesh or Yom Tov, since we read those passages as muftir in the Torah scroll. This is the ruling of the Shulchan Aruch. So it means Shulchan Aruch brings down Shabbat, yes, Musaf, Yom Tov, no. And that's what we have. We have it on Shabbat. The Ramah followed Ashkenaz, the custom of reciting this passage of Musaf Rosh Chodesh, explaining this advertises the addition, the right of the day. The Rav Chida testified that the custom of the land of Israel is not to recite it for Shabbat, contrary to Maran. So again, the Edot HaMizrach go against Maran. Sfaradim, Moroccans go like Maran. Right? Pay attention. He explained that the Shachrit prayers correspond to the Korban and Tamid, and it is forbidden to offer the Musaf before offering the Tamid. And this is similar to the argument presented by the Sefer Manhig. The Kaf HaChaim Sofer added that this matches the instructions of the Arizal HaKadosh. Okay. 51. Our custom is to remain seated while we're reciting Korbanot section of the Shachrit. If someone is praying with a congregation in synagogue, he may not choose to stand while these passages are saying, while everyone is sitting down. If he would do so, he's guilty of showing off that he's more pious than other people. And such a situation should always be avoided. 49. The Talmud teaches that if someone offers a korban while seated, the korban is invalidated. Since we recite these passages as a substitute for offering the korbanot, it makes sense to say that we must stand up while saying them. Meaning, if you're bringing a korban, you have to be standing. So say it standing up. It says no. This is the ruling of Lo Tamid Make Bracha. The Mati Yehuda, however, maintained that it is an act of piety, but is not required. He noted that the poskim discussed, right, the necessity to recite the passage during the day, right, but not the necessity to stand. Furthermore, the rule to stand applies to the korban performing the sacrifice of the kohen, not to everybody. Meaning, you don't have to stand; only the kohen that's doing the service, but not you. Like he said, the Torah of Yerushalayim always recited korbanot while seated, and that's also the Rav Chida. Right now, the response of Lev Chaim deduced from the Eliyah Rabbi Mati Yehuda that although there is no obligation to stand up, it is commendable practice. Mati Yehuda added that if one is praying together with the congregation, he must not behave in a different manner than the congregation. Okay, he must not behave. So that means why? Because he's showing Kilu that he's better than thou. So he said he should not stand up when everyone's sitting. The Lev Chaim said that a person who's already has a reputation of great piety, he could stand up. Why? Because that's the person. He's already there. He added that this usually is not the issue, since likely people would notice that he's standing because of his stringency. Certainly, if someone wishes to recite the passage of Korbanot after Shachrit, he may stand up with a fear of being haughty because nobody knows what he's doing. So therefore, there's no problem. And obviously, according to that, there's not going to be any problem whatsoever. We continue with Zot Hashem on Sunday.